What Arty Noobs for general disturbance? This is the Grille, the Tier 5 German SPG. This one's located on the north spawn of Abbey, and it's under the command of talon1958, and the battle started, well, before we actually loaded in, and that's why there was no countdown at all, because he was too busy loading it up onto his computer. Okay, he's decided to go to nearly the same spot as Angelina to fight this battle. He started on the same spawn as her, but he's gone to the same spot because, of course, there is fairly good shots down this road to the monastery. No enemy turned up yet, but they usually do. And we just noticed where one of the enemy Arty is. He's actually in the bush right at the back of their cap area. Instead, he's decided to go for the bushes next to that house. There's nearly always somebody who goes in there. Rounds out. Okay, it hit the bush. Now, I think he needed to aim a little further back from that bush, because of course the tank destroyer would have been hiding a bit further back. But he's now decided to change position. He's going to go over and support the tanks that are going down the west side of the map, and that's a very good idea on this map, because you can get great shots on the tanks that are blocking our guys' path. And if you do support them, then you might actually not only get hit points, but you might help your guys get to the enemy cap area without any obstructions. Okay, he's about ready. Now, a Valiant's turned up in the middle of the map, but he's looking over here, and yes, there are some targets, including a Panzer IV and a 25 TP. Well, the 25 TP is very vulnerable to an Arty round, especially a 15cm one, but he's not exactly staying still. Rounds out. Direct hit! That was a good hit, that one. 178. Was taking a sizable chunk out of his hit points. And the good news is that Panzer IV has gone. Taken out by our VP. So that's very useful, because that is an OP medium. Rounds out to the AT2. He gets a direct hit, but this tank has got very heavy armor, and he only gets 171 hit points. Now, he does take it down by about the same amount as the 25 TP. But the AT2 is a very difficult tank to take down. It's all that heavy armor at the front of the vehicle. Rounds out again. He landed the shell on the rock face right behind the AT2, but it still splashed him. Oh, and another direct hit. Now, he might have gotten an assist there, because if the Fifi hit him, and he did, he's got a blind hit, then it might have been because he tracked him. Oh, kill shots! That one landed on the engine deck of the AT2, and even a heavily armored tank destroyer like that is not going to stand around landing on thin engine deck. He's going for the Stug, but he changes his mind, because there's a 25 TP. He can definitely hit that one. Oh, he fires it just as the guy gets taken out, but the shell did hit the target bang on. So the team are doing fairly well at the moment, in that they are pushing on the enemy tanks on this side of the map, but the enemy has, well, they've got the whole east side of the map, the river side, and they're blocking our guys from getting into the Abbey. We're trying to get the shot on this Stug. I would not be surprised if enemy tanks turned up at our cap area soon, because although we've got a Panzer IV Ausrung H Anku, the Japanese one, waiting there to stop the enemy coming into our cap area, and a T-67 for that matter, and I think that T-67 might be an AFK. I'm not absolutely 100% sure on that, but we know that there is an enemy Arty behind that bush at the back there. We haven't seen the enemy appear yet, but they might appear at any moment. Okay, we're trying to move up because we can't get shots on the Stug, because he's hiding using the scenery to protect himself. He knows where it's Arty safe. The Stug's gone! And now, oh, he's moving a long way down this corridor, which is really helpful, because once he gets to the far end, and they found the enemy on the other side of the map, it's a Panzer IV, sorry. Is it IV? Yes, it is IV. Okay, so we do have an enemy tank over on the River Road, but only the one so far. Now he's sitting here at the moment because he can shoot. Well, he's trying to see if he can get a shot on that Panther right here. I think he can. Yeah, hell of a shot if he does, because remember, it's going up over the Abbey and down onto the other side. Ready, rounds out. This looks good. Oh, nice hit, 229, and he's killed the next second by our teammate in the Panzer IV Aslains H. Anku. Those whiny Japanese girls, all dressed in sailors' uniforms. I cannot get the Japanese's fascination with girls wearing sailors' uniforms and short skirts. It's not sort of the sort of fetish that I like. That was a direct hit, and he wiped out the M10. It didn't appear immediately, but it has appeared now. He wiped out the M10 RBFM. That's a good kill. And it was a narrow hit as well, because he aimed it directly between the rocks, but he was so dialed in that the shell went straight and true right to the target and took out the M10. So there's the Stug just got hit. And now we've got a Wolverine. This is looking fairly good. He might get some significant hit points out of this. Wolverine next. If he stays still, we might be able to get him. Work out where he's going. He fires the round in. Splashes him. 57, but he tracked him. Now, can he get a kill shot? And we're waiting for the Wolverine to appear again. He's in those bushes. Styling in, make it accurate. Rounds out. And the Wolverine's moved behind the rock. Okay, so the enemy's got 3 left. Oh, they just lost the Wolverine, which means now the remaining enemies are Bishop and a Fifi, a 105 FH18B2. They must be over this side of the map by now. Yep, they both are. There's the Fifi. He was the one behind the bush that was firing. We saw him earlier in the game. Direct hit, wipes him out. 3rd kill for Talon. And now it's just a Bishop and he's dialing in, but it's too late because the game is over. Here's the end of battle results of the first battle, and it's a 2nd-class tanker for talon1958 in the Grille on Abbey. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9, which is more than Angelina got. And he also got a win rate of 3,452, which is super unicum and a bit more. Unfortunately, there's no medals. So this does not actually beat Angelina, because if you remember, Angelina in her last battle got a 2nd class, a Bruiser, and a Confederate, which means she beats his score, even though she's got a smaller win rate than Talon does. Anyway, let's have a look at the team score. Well, he did the highest damage in the game overall, but he didn't get the high caliber because he didn't get 20% of the enemy hit pool. Talon managed to get 1,205 hit points of damage, and that must have been because there was quite a few blind shots in there, which he didn't actually get notification for. One of those was the M10 RBFM that he took out, because that was a blind shot towards the end, because he was aiming at it, but the M10 RBFM suddenly disappeared, but the shot went straight and true, hit the target, blew him up, and suddenly the wreck appeared in its place. Okay, so 1,205 was the highest. The 2nd highest was the Bishop on the enemy team with 1,195. And they were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 hit points of damage. The 3rd place being that Panzer IV Aslains H Anju with the annoying Japanese girls driving it. And he got 958. When it came to kills, though, it was, yes, Talon who got the highest with 3. The next highest being the Panzer IV Aslains H with annoying whining girls, the T67, the Striv M42, the Bishop and the T67 from the enemy team, And when it came to base XP, it was, yes, the annoying girls got it again. Yes, they were whining their way to 762 base experience points, whilst Talon managed to pick up 568 out of that one, and he was actually joined by the T14, who also got exactly the same base XP out of that game. He fired 13 rounds in that game, got 6 direct hits on the enemy, and 2 penetrations, yes, and one of those pens was probably the M10 RBFM, which of course he must have gone straight through. Yes, look at that. One hit went straight through, penetrated, and did damage of 375 hit points. Now, I suspect that the other one was the Fifi. Yep, direct hit there, you see. Direct hit, penetration, 23 hit points. That's all he had left at the time, but it was a kill shot. So, very well done on both of those pens. You also got 9 splash on the enemy. 1,205 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 7 of the enemy, killed 3. That's why he just missed out on getting a Confederate, because if he'd actually got no kills at all in that game, he probably would have scored the Confederate. But yes, so sometimes it's not so great getting a kill because it means you don't end up with a medal. But he could have ended up with a high caliber if he got 20% of the enemy hit pool. Okay, he also did 60 hit points of stun assists out of 6 stuns, and he earned 25,353 credits on a premium count, 50,000 for completing the mission and events, 75,353 credits altogether, and after ammunition resupply took away 68,788 credits profit. 852 XP times 2 for the first victory, took away 1,704 experience points altogether. He says, I love this little Arty. Well, yes, I agree, because it does actually have a rather good trajectory, which means you can hit targets even if they're trying to hide from you. Sometimes they just fall prey. Plus, of course, it's very accurate. And you can see that in the fact that he fired at that M10 RBFM and took him out with a perfectly accurate shot, even though he was aiming between 2 buildings when he did it. So, great game from Talon to start off, but he's not in the lead yet because, yes, Angelina is still up there with a chance. She's leading, and she will get the weekend lie-in unless Talon can beat him. So let's have a look at the second replay and see if he manages to do that. Well, the second replay is on the Glacier map, and this time round, Talon is in the Hummel, the Tier 6 German SPG, and yes, Wargaming still hasn't fixed the sound if you start halfway through the countdown. In fact, this one only started a few seconds left in the countdown. And Talon's decided to take his Hummel with the stock gun into the trees to try and get shots on the enemy. Okay, well, he can reach the ramp that runs up to the aircraft carrier. And he looks like he's going to try and get an early hit on anyone who's cheeky enough to go up to the carrier. Yes, it's actually quite fun when you hit these guys, because if you do and one of your teammates decides to fire as well at the same time, then you might get a kill straight off the mark. Oh, VK 2801105, the one with the dirt gun. Let's put him back. Oh! Well, he hit the wreck, and I'm pretty sure he would have got a kill if that VK hadn't been taken out beforehand. Now, one of the good things about the stock gun on the Hummel is that it does have fast reload. The standard reload has actually gone up to 25.31. In fact, I say stayed the same at 25.31. Oh, we got a direct hit on that OI. It's actually 25.31, but you can see that Talon's reload time is less than that. Of course, he's got Brothers in Arms and other skills, and of course a rammer, which decreases the reload time. It's actually got it's less time to reload with the stock gun than it is with the top gun, and of course it's got the better trajectory. Rounds out in the KB1S. It's a little too far away for that to hit. He needed a little more lead on the target, but he did get some stun assist off the KB1, so at least that's something there. Now, I've actually done an analysis of the changes to the Arty since they've done this nerf on the M44, and the annoying fact is, and I did suspect this at the time and mentioned it in one of our videos, that if they nerfed the M44, it would nerf the M41 HMC, the tier 5 American SPG as well. And the reason for that, well, unfortunately we lost the M4A3E8 on the enemy team before Talon could get a hit on him. Yes, because he got wiped out. But we've got another target fire up, and it's a Jagdpanzer IV. Talon's lining up the shot. Rounds out. Oh, no, he stunned him. The shell fell short and he didn't hit the target. So no damage. Not enough. It's not within the blast radius. And I think you can see the blast radius on this one is 6.7 meters. So you need to be that close. And I think it was just outside it. Fires another one in. And again, it's too far away to actually get any damage, but he does get stunned. And he is picking up stun assist at least. He's got 288 so far, and that Jagdpanzer IV is down. Now, the enemy does have another Jagdpanzer IV somewhere. Oh, there's that OI again. He's going to have a go, see if he can get a shot in there. Oh, he fires just a fraction of a second too late. He did hit the target again, but the target was already dead, so he got no hit points off that one either. Now, getting back to the M41 HMC and the M44, the stock gun on the M44 is the same howitzer, the 155mm M1 howitzer, as on the M41 HMC. There is only one howitzer on the M41 HMC, and when Wargaming nerfed the M44, they've automatically nerfed the M41 HMC as well, which means now that the entry people to the American Arty line, because of course remember the entry vehicle is now the M41 HMC, unless of course you can get the collector's vehicles. It means that people won't be persuaded to get the M41 HMC, mainly because it's not very easy to play when you've reduced the damage that it will do. I'm very disappointed in this because Wargaming have dropped the damage on all three of the vehicles, well, all two of the vehicles, both guns on the M44 and of course the M41, and now it's actually made some of the other Arties at tier 6 better than the M44, but there's still an Arty in the tier 6 level which actually does have a reasonably high DPM as well as a high damage rate, and that's the SU-8. And the Jagdpanzer IV dies, and well, Talon's picked up some more stun assists, but he's only got 366 hit points of damage so far, and in order to get closer to the enemy, he's going to have to drive out into the open and get closer. So sadly, I think a lot of people, a lot of new players will choose not to go down the American line of Arty, but instead they'll probably go down the Soviet line or maybe the French line. Now he's got a bit closer, so he can probably hit this KV2 now. Yep, just about. He couldn't hit it before because it was a flattened reticule short of the target. But he plots that round next to the KV2, and his fellow Arty does the same. Okay, he's got a request to hit the Jackson. He's responded to say, yep, I'm going for it. And Jackson's out. That's it, he's gone. There's only 3 enemies left, the KV2 and 2 Arty, an AMX-13 F3 and an M44. Another shot, very close to the KV2, but he's hiding behind that rock to ensure that he doesn't get taken out. And there's the AMX-13 F3. He's got the top gun, and there's the M44. Yeah, can we get a hit on him? Almost loaded. Oh, and he dies before we can shoot. And that just leaves the KV2 as the last enemy tank. And he's still hiding around the corner. That M4A1 FL10 does not have much in the way of hit points left. And I don't think he'd survive a dirt by the KV2, even with the reduced HE. So Talon's trying to help him by lobbing an HE round in there to soften him up for you. Rounds out. Oh, he pulls away from the aim point, but he does get the stun. And he got the stun assist off that one, and the game is over. Here's the end of battle results, and that was the second class tanker for talon1958 in the Hummel. He got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6 on this one, just one more than he needed, as well as a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. Now, the win 8, 669. Now, unfortunate thing is that Angelina, if I go back to, yeah, there you go. There's her second class Bruiser and Confederate, but her win 8 is higher. It's 2,262. And that means that Talon, well, he's not in the lead. He didn't manage to get the lead off Angelina. She's still in for the weekend lie-in tomorrow morning. In fact, actually, I think it's... oh, no, it's not tomorrow yet. It's still Saturday night in Talon's household. So Angelina still has a chance of putting it off. But I think that... If I recall, actually, Talon was telling me that he's actually away from home at the moment, so I'm pretty sure Angelina's going to win this week's competition. Well, let's have a look at the details and see what he did. Well, the highest damage in that game went to the KB2 on Talon's team, who did 1,927 hit points, but he didn't get a high caliber because it wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool. The second highest damage was the Budgie, who managed 1,837, and the third highest damage was the Jackson on the enemy team with 1,708. Talon only managed to get 498 hit points. In fact, he was the only player in the game who actually got a medal out of it. He got 498 hit points, which puts him, well, 6th place from the bottom on his team. But the problem really was the rest of his team was so good that anytime he identified a target and was about to strike it, his teammate then took it out before his shell could arrive, and that meant he earned nothing in damage, really, very, very little. If most of those shots that he fired actually had hit the target correctly, he would have been up at the top of the table and possibly might have got a first-class tanker out of it, but sadly he didn't. When it came to kills, he didn't get any kills at all, and that helped him to get the Confederate. The top scorers were the KB2 on our team and the KB2 on the enemy team. Both got 3 kills apiece. 2 kills went to the Budgie, the M4A1 FL10, the Nashorn, the Super Chappie, and the M44 on our team. Only one player on the enemy team managed to get more than 1 kill, and that was the AMX-13 F3AM, their Arty. And when it came to base XP, he's a little higher on the table. He's in 6th place on this one. He actually did beat all of the enemy team. The highest scorer was the Budgie, who managed 839. 828 went to the Super Chappie, 813 went to the KB2, and Talon got 619 out of that game. So it's a reasonable score, but he would have done so much better if his teammates hadn't been so good and so desperate to get those hit points before him. He fired 14 rounds in that game. He only got 1 direct hit on the enemy, no penetrations, and 11 splash. So 3 of his shots didn't do anything at all, and I put that down to the fact that the enemy, his teammates, were just jumping in there quickly to kill the enemy before he could. 498 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 6 of the enemy, didn't get any kills, but that earned him a Confederate, and he got 1,133 hit points of stun assist of 10 stuns, and a lot of that was earned right at the last end of the game, because that KV2 still had most of his hit points. He did get stunned and he got taken out fairly quickly, and that earned Talon quite a lot there to get him his 2nd class. He earned 33,318 credits from the game, and after ammunition resupply took away a profit of 26,248 credits on a premium count. 928 XP times 2 for the first victory took away 1,857. So, yep, does look like Angelina's going to win this weekend, and I'm sure she's going to enjoy it, even if they're away from home at the moment. But I'll be a different contest next week, so we'll get to see if there's any improvement. But we haven't seen an ace tanker from either Talon or Angelina in, well, it must be nearly a month now, which is surprising because they're normally very, very hot on it. So let's hope that after their little break, they come back fresh and start scoring those aces. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.